launching themselves through life being the good time, bold enough to take risks and inquisitively asking, what's next? They hail from New Hampshire, but they could be anywhere dressed in cute clothes. If they had to share a tombstone, it would read, "Curiosity killed these cats." Your hosts, Lisa and Robyn on the mic.
Welcome to Lisa and Robyn on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live, as well as YouTube, Facebook, Spotify.
Well, not Facebook anymore.
No, I think she got us up on mine on.
Oh.
I think so. So we'll see after. We'll see if it's live once we go to the break at the top of the hour.
Sweet.
Welcome to another Thursday, my loves. Don't be upset. I'll tell you right now, everyone thinks their hair looks bad, their skin looks bad. They don't understand why they don't have any energy, and they're like, why am I depressed? It's February.
It is.
We've gotten through that really long, extra long, never-ending month of January. We think winter should be over. It's actually just hitting its stride, and we're all just a little funky.
Hey, now we're like 2.5 months from pool opening.
Yes, we're 2.5 months. That's great. That's about 10 weeks.
I started the countdown at like 4 months, and I'm like, everybody does like, it's 982 days until Christmas. So I'm like, why can't I do that?
Right. I love it. I love that. So how is everyone doing in the storm?
Yuck.
It's now rain instead of snow.
Gross. I woke up this morning and I went down to the pool doors, and you can see the bunny. We have a bunny, and he's still, hopping around. The cats like
he hasn't been murdered by anything yet.
Not yet. But you can see, you can see his steps. He came out from underneath the bush, walked up, and it's like, is he taunting the kitties because his footprints are like literally right up against the door?
Or maybe he's thinking, could you throw something out here, or could I come in there?
Well, I do throw carrots out there, and I do throw some lettuce out there, but
maybe he knows you're the lady.
He didn't get the
he got the memo, like,
taunting
excuse
Milo.
me. Maybe he wants to play.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that Milo might attack him.
Might be the enemy.
Yeah, he may or may not be. He may be in love. They may have some silent communication.
That's true.
When animals communicate, and especially when different species become best friends, like horses and goats, or I think everyone has seen that video on social media where the lion is walking with the antelope.
Yes.
Or some kind of mountain lion is walking into this at the end of the National Geographic shooting. They just go home, but they're best friends.
Yes.
And you're like, how does that even happen? How are you two? You're prey and predator. How do you two become friends? Yeah.
Yeah, because you've seen, I was trying to think, was it a dog and, you've seen a dog and horses, like.
Yes, all the time.
All the time get together. But.
And polar bears and dogs.
Oh, really? I didn't know polar bears.
So there was a special where this guy runs sled dogs in Alaska, maybe not Alaska, some North Arctic, Antarctic someplace. And so he brings his sled dogs, and they sit outside, and they're all kind of chained down. And he's inside, and a polar bear comes over, and he videos it like, oh, no, I'm going to lose some dogs. That's his thought.
Oh.
And the polar bear starts picking up and hugging the dogs. Hugging.
Oh.
Look it up. And you're like,
I'll have to look it up.
What is going on there? And the dogs are kind of, I don't know if I want to be hugged yet. I don't know how I feel about this. You didn't get my permission. You're supposed to ask before you touch people, dude. They have a little bit of that. But this polar bear is just, oh, look at this puppy.
Yeah. Oh,
I want to hold him. He's so cute.
You think about solitary animals. You wonder if they ever get lonely.
Yeah, I think that this polar bear was definitely lonely.
Polar bears, just wandering like in the quiet.
Yeah.
All the time.
For swimming forever.
Yes.
I'm going to start throwing this out there. You guys can do with it what you will. I'm not a financial advisor, especially in the stock world, but I'm buying stock in cottage cheese because it's made its way into every single recipe on the internet.
Really?
It has overtaken acai. It has overtaken
wow.
cauliflower. Remember when cauliflower was in everything? Cauliflower was rice.
Yes.
Cauliflower was everything. And
cauliflower crust.
Yeah, acai was in everything. Quinoa was in everything. Yeah. Now cottage cheese is in everything. I saw a guy make bread out of cottage cheese.
Ooh.
He made a banana bread out of cottage cheese. I saw a woman make ice cream out of cottage cheese. I've seen too many cottage cheese recipes.
Were you like on Hood's website?
No. I always follow a few people for food. So because I follow a few people, 900 people come through my
Yes.
feed of food, and everybody is just blitzing cottage cheese and putting it in their food for extra, because everybody's high protein. And no one knows how to get 350 grams of protein in their diet, because we're not supposed to have 350 grams of protein in our diet. We're not wildebeest. No, wildebeest probably are vegetarian. Lions are, lions are getting 350 on the bison. We're not getting 350.
Next it'll be eggs. But I didn't realize that we had like when I went to the store the other day, I think it was Market Basket. They had signs everywhere saying you can only purchase limit 2 cartons of eggs per.
That's because before Biden went out, he slaughtered like 13 million chickens.
Oh, really? I didn't
He
know that.
ordered the slaughter of chickens.
Because they were
No.
contaminated?
No.
Just for fun?
I don't know. I keep getting these weird things about, now eggs go up. So the first turn,
it's like 800. It's like $8.69 or something.
Yeah,
so.
we're back to eggs being the most expensive thing in the grocery
Yeah.
cart. We were doing well for a little while there.
I guess it was Monday that I went, but all the paper towels, like remember COVID when they all got all their surplus in? There were paper towels and toilet paper rolls like stacked in the aisles. Like you had enough room to get your cart down. And I'm like, wow, are we getting ready to go into some weird thing again? Like, why all these paper towels?
CNN said what the White House meant when it said Biden directed the mass killing of 100 million chickens. At her first White House briefing, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt made an unusual claim about the inflation. Thank you for your glasses. I'm squinting over here like nobody's business. American shoppers, Leavitt said egg prices have continued to surge because the Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to the lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore lack of egg supply, which is leading to that is not exactly correct, and it needs context, as everything does. Those killings are required by the Department of Agriculture to contain the spread of an avian flu. Okay, so that has affected birds since 2022. The egg-laying birds either die naturally or are culled to avoid spreading the deadly virus, and it's up to farmers to report the outbreak. But is there an outbreak?
I think she said, it said due to the avian flu.
Okay. It said in November and December, the virus killed 17.2 million chickens.
Wow.
So we slaughtered 100 million of them.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's interesting.
Fun
So it said
fact.
this is more than 20 months, of record high demand for eggs. So everyone, you can buy chickens at, what's the name of that supply feed store?
Oh, yeah, like the grain, not Blue Seal.
Tractor Supply.
Tractor Supply.
You go there anytime in the month of April, and they just have chickens, teeny tiny baby chickens everywhere. And you can just bring some home, which leads us to building a fence for them so hawks, foxes, bears don't get into your chicken coop. Electrify your fences. That'll keep the bears and the raccoons. Raccoons love chickens.
So why the eggs and not the meat? How come the price of chicken
hasn't gone up?
hasn't gone up? Where are they getting that meat from?
That's a really good question.
Ugh, that's kind of scary.
It's very scary.
Are we even eating chicken?
So this is the thing about industrial farmed food. You can't keep that many animals healthy.
Yes.
In poop-covered environments, because what ends it is they're too crowded. They're pooping on themselves and everybody else, and then the poop. It's
everywhere. They're
that's
walking
why
in it
industrial farming is so deadly, and then at some point you have to feed everything antibiotics, and you have to do this protocol to keep everything from being sick that's living in poop all the time. There. Good morning.
Yes.
Isn't that a pleasant way to start your day? That'll help you for your diet that you promised you were going to go on in January, talking about poop-covered food.
Right. Thanks to Lisa and Robyn, I'm down now. We don't eat chicken and eggs.
Now I don't feel like eating that today. Yeah, so I think I'm going to just buy some stock in cottage cheese. I'm going to find out who's the biggest cottage cheese manufacturer, buy a little bit of stock and see what happens by the end of the year. Because cottage cheese isn't everything. And then I saw this great comedian, and he said there's 2 types of people in a marriage, people who keep everything and people who throw things away. And he is the type who throws things away, and his wife is the keeper. And he walked in, and she was holding black bananas. And he said, "What are you doing with those?" And she said, "I'm making banana bread." And he goes, "Oh, I didn't realize you made banana bread with trash. I wonder how good that could be if it was using fresh ingredients."
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And anyone who's ever made banana bread knows. And then he goes on to say, "Hey, there's some moldy strawberries. Do you want to do something with those?"
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
So
I'm not a big banana bread fan.
Neither am I.
I don't like the taste of it, but I wonder if you made it with fresh bananas,
If it wouldn't improve it.
Yeah.
A significant amount.
Well, my dad used to always put the black bananas in the freezer.
Mhm.
I think they used to dip them, or they would cut them up. I don't know why.
So
I don't know why.
I take them before they get black when I'm like, okay, I've lost the battle with the bananas. I have 3 more bananas, then I have days that we can eat them. And before they're black, I cut them up and put them in the freezer to throw in smoothies.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And if you throw them frozen, you can just use any kind of milk substitute or a juice or something, and it makes it like ice cream.
Ooh.
Because
have to
it's
try
frozen
that.
fruit. So I do that, and I'm not a big banana bread person, so I never make banana bread. But that joke made me think, well, maybe if I used fresh bananas, I might like banana bread.
Well, Logan brought over some banana bread his mom made, and she made a chocolate banana bread, and it was really good. It was moist, but you still have that little, I don't know, it's like almost like a metallic aftertaste in those bananas,
Yeah, I think I'm not a rotten food person. I even like bananas when they're almost still a hint of green on them.
That's my favorite. And if you put them in the refrigerator, I love that first bite. Like, I like cold bananas. I don't know why. They taste better.
Yeah.
Actually, I had one this morning.
When I was running, I would eat half a banana in the morning for like 10 years. And I was, for about 5 years, I was like, if I never have a banana again, I'd be okay. It's like that when you...
I was like that with yogurt.
Yeah.
For being pregnant.
You're like, and I have a friend who ate nothing but broccoli when she was pregnant, and she will not eat broccoli for the 16 or 19 years her daughter's been alive. No more broccoli. I've had my fill.
For the longest time, it took me a long time to like want to touch chicken. After I was pregnant, like, ugh, just no.
When I first started cooking, I would make chicken and then not eat it. And then my spouse would be like, "Why am I eating food you're not eating?" And I immediately think he thought I was poisoning him. But I would say it grossed me out. The manipulation and manhandling of chicken grossed me out. So then what I started to do was wear gloves.
Oh, that's
And then if I didn't really feel the chicken, raw chicken, I could eat it. And every once in a while, I'll go through a phase where I'm like, I touch chicken and I'm like, eh. But I don't feel that way about raw meat. I can manhandle raw meat.
Well, it has a different
Red
texture.
meat does have a different texture.
It's not slimy. It's
And
not slick.
I almost never eat chicken out because sometimes they leave that weird...
Yes.
And it bites back.
Yeah, I don't like even getting chicken tacos or anything chicken at a Mexican restaurant. I just don't. I don't want any nasty pieces of meat.
I don't want any, and I
don't want any surprise textures in my mouth. How about that?
We are such a texture group over here. We just cannot. We can't do the rotten bananas and the raw chicken and the bouncy chicken. And
so when I do my chicken, I cook it, or like if I'm gonna do chicken,
I always pound my chicken, no matter what I'm doing with it. It gets a little bit of a pounding because I always think it's such a tough meat.
Yes, but I also, if I'm gonna cut it up for something, a stir fry or something, it's best to do it when it's still frozen a little bit. Then you can just take your knife and you're slicing it. It's almost like a...
Yeah, it really gets a nice even edge.
Not quite a cucumber, but not... I mean, yeah, maybe more like a cucumber. It kind of slices like that a little bit.
Yep.
Without the skin on.
Sometimes I do that with cheese. If I have to shred cheese, I throw it in the freezer for half an hour.
Oh, I never...
So that it doesn't melt into the... Because the friction of... Whoever is watching me on the So I have a funny story about this motion. So I'm making the shredded cheese motion on the cheese grater that's standing up, okay? But that also looks like another motion.
It looks like you might be doing somebody a favor.
You might be doing someone a solid. And what's hilarious about that
we need some solids lately. We need some solids. We need to shake. It's Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's week.
It is Valentine's month.
It is the month of love.
It is the month of love. So that's what I do because it generates heat when you're doing it.
Yeah.
And so that being frozen helps that.
Is it easier?
Way easier.
Oh,
But you don't want it frozen. You want 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, just so it's
just starting to
start getting hard so you can.
the moisture starting to freeze in it.
Yes.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, so the other night I made meatball sandwiches because I had some homemade sauce that I had left over. I was like, what can I do with this? And at my hair appointment, I was scrolling through recipes and I was like, oh, that looks really good. But there's a place, is it Peterborough House of Pizza or Pizza Barn? It might be the Pizza Barn. They have the best meatball sandwiches because they slice it, it's squares.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've been looking and scouring the internet for a flat meatball recipe. Like,
It's just meatloaf.
well, yeah, but it has the seasoning in it, but the way they've crisped it. So I put it in a sheet pan and I mashed it as flat as I could. Next time I'll do it is mash it again a little bit when it's not quite cooked all the way, so you can still compress it to get it just a little bit thinner. Ideally, you should just make a rolling pin and roll it. So then once it's done, I cut it in long strips and I put it in the pan to kind of get the edges and get the whole thing crispy. Man.
Awesome. Did you melt provolone cheese on it and toast the bread?
Well, so what I did was you open your sub roll.
Because if you did, it's not a sandwich.
Well, you butter it. So you butter it. Then I sprinkled a little bit of Parmesan over top of the butter, and I just started to melt the butter and the Parmesan a little bit. Then I took fresh mozzarella, put that down on that, put that back in for just a few, just so it starts to getting. Then I put my sauce down, and then I did my meatballs, and then I did my sauce again, and then I put fresh mozzarella and a little bit of Parmesan. So if you do those combination just right, it's that gooey pull apart.
Yes.
So I like that better than because I like the sharpness of the Parmesan.
Provolone. Oh, okay. I really like provolone on my meatball.
I used to do that, and I didn't have any, and I'm like, I'm not going back out to the store.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back out to the store. I didn't think of that. That's really good.
But the fresh mozzarella, if you get the temperature hot enough, then it starts to get that gooey pull apart.
Yeah, like pizza when pizza strings out.
Yes.
Or at least it does on the commercials.
Yes, it does. But I like mixing a little bit of that fresh Parmesan with it. I think I'm going to start buying the wedge of Parmesan and just grating it myself.
Yeah, I do that. Even though I have several family members that love the green container of Parmesan cheese.
We used to, but I don't do. I either will get it comes in the bag, or the little container, like the deli container. But we go through it so much.
And it's so expensive.
Yes.
It's really expensive.
And I was at Whole Foods.
And then you can always take the rinds and throw them in your soup. That always adds a saltiness to your soup that you can't quite put a finger on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, what are you making for dinner tonight?
Tacos. Because we have bowling tonight, so we're going to do tacos tonight.
Yeah.
And I made fresh salsa the other day, so.
That'd be good. We had steak. I went to Butcher Boy in Andover. I had a closing on Tuesday that was in Massachusetts, and so I visited my in-laws, and then I stopped at Butcher Boy. They have really good meat. Really, really good meat. So I bought a bunch of steak, so we're going to have steak again tonight. And their steak was, not one piece of it was bad.
Wow.
I bought my spouse Delmonico. I bought myself a filet, and I cooked it, but then I couldn't eat the whole thing. I know that sounds bizarre, and then I was rushing, and I was like, if I eat too much more food this fast, I'm going to feel terrible.
Yeah.
So I just saved half of it, and then I recooked it the next day for 6 minutes just to warm it up, and it was still a little bit pink on the inside, and that was perfect. And then I got a Kansas City, which is a Delmonico with a bone in it, which I've never had. So that'll be tonight.
Oh, that sounds good. So do you flash it? How do you cook your steak?
If we're grilling, my spouse manhandles the grill, but we have very specific steak techniques. I don't like filet mignon on the grill because I think there's not enough fat on it to really render it really, really well.
You have to cook it perfect.
So I get a pan, unusually hot. I dry the steak and so that there's no moisture whatsoever. I salt and pepper it and really press both the salt and pepper into the steak.
Yeah.
And then the minute I put down olive oil, which I know you're not supposed to use on a hot pan, I throw the steak down on it. probably do 4 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, so that there's a hard crust on the outside. And then I put it in a 450-degree oven for 6 to 8 minutes, depending on how big and how thick it is, and I get it perfectly.
Wow, that sounds
on
good.
the rare to medium rare side, because I like my fillets to be a little bit more rare.
Oh, that sounds good. I want to try that.
And when I put it inside the oven, I usually put it on a plate with aluminum foil on it, and then whatever olive oil, if there's any left, on top of it. And then I let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes when it comes out.
Garlic butter would be good.
And you could melt it on top with a little bit of butter, or you can even put that on top when you're throwing it into the oven so that it's like basted in it. But you don't need a ton of time, and you can actually almost see it from the side, get to the temperature that you want. And I often do that. I don't know if I made it with you. It's in the cookbook. It is half cream cheese, half goat cheese, roasted garlic, and chives. So you take however many people you're doing it for, it's 1 ounce of cream cheese and 1 ounce of goat cheese per person.
Oh.
And then you need, for 2 people, I roast 1 head of garlic, a really big head. If I'm doing 4 people, I do 2 heads, and you can multiply it out, and salt and a little bit of pepper. And what I do is I roast it, then I I soften the cream cheese and the goat cheese. When that's soft, I mix it all together with the roasted garlic, add pepper, and then add the chives, and then put that back in the fridge. And then as I'm doing the meat, I put that on top of the fillet, because
I'm hungry.
Sounds good. I know. And that's a really good, because the garlic is tempered so much in its heat by roasting it, and it's almost candied. And then with that cheesy, creamy,
it does sound good.
It's really good.
That does sound good. Now, do you do the edges too on your fillet? Do you like pepper, like crisp the outside, like
no
just the top and bottom?
I just the top and bottom, because I like the softness of the steak itself. I don't want it crispy all the way around, and I think it would make it more done than I want it to be. I want that middle pink fat layer, almost the way when I do tuna steak. Yeah, it's cooked on the 2 outsides, but the middle is that like hot pink center.
Oh, that sounds good. So we have been doing for Christmas. I should just say my son-in-law, my future son-in-law. He got us 2 big
the imminent son-in-law.
The imminent. He got us 2 big tomahawk steaks. So we've been playing around with the different techniques. He and his dad had gone to Texas, and he brought us back this seasoning from this famous steakhouse place. And they're actually on their way to Arizona to do a dirt biking trip. Fun. And they go like 3 hours out of their way to hit this spot. So he brought back some of the seasoning. And so those 2 have been in the kitchen trying to like figure it out. Kayla, for Christmas, gave him a Bluetooth thermometer, so it goes right in the meat. So what we've been doing is taking it, getting the grill super, super hot, coating it, and then I think he does the oil on it. But so flashing it there, and then I take a cast iron skillet, and we finish cooking it in the oven. And it almost, I want to do one almost. I want to do one on the grill and one flash it on the grill and then in the oven. When it comes out of the oven, it's almost like a prime rib. The texture of it is almost like a prime rib.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. To be honest, I do not know how to turn on the grill by myself.
I know how to turn it on. I just don't know what to do with it.
And I've done that on purpose because I don't need to do every single thing. And I think my spouse really likes manhandling the grill. That's his, culinary space. Yeah. He stands like a surgeon. I stick tongs in his hand. I give him he operates that like a surgeon's table. And he does a great job. But with steak and certain fishes, you want to put it down. Don't touch it. You need to let it sit to get it sear,
Mm.
moving stuff around. This isn't a stir fry. Steaks aren't stir fries where you're trying to keep things from sticking. This is sticking, putting it down, and it's not quite ready to come up if it sticks at all because you're not getting, once it's charred on the bottom, it will just come up easily. But I do like steak tips on the grill. There are certain steak I like on the grill, but it has to have a certain combination of fat or I don't like it. I think it gets dry. I also don't like my sausages on the grill. I put my sausages in the oven to capture all of that juice that comes out, because you have to stab it with a fork a little bit or stab it with a knife, and then the juices run out. I put everything in the oven, and then all that oily, delicious sausagey oil is what is really so good. I made steak and not steak. Sorry, guys.
Your stuffed mushrooms
sausage
would be really
peppers.
good with that.
Actually, they would be good with sausage.
That would be good. So I looked. So we've been watching Next Level Chef, and it's definitely inspiring me to make some new recipes. They did. She was doing like a sweet potato, like a puree, and I was just thinking about it. What if you added a little bit of spice to your sweet potato? Did I say sweet pepper?
You said sweet potato.
Oh, so sweet potato. But what if you did like your sweet potatoes? You could still do.
I use a chili powder on mine if I'm going to use them in Mexican.
I was going to say a chili powder, or like even just like maybe like a little cayenne, so it gives it a little bit of heat. But I still think if you did that with the butter and brown sugar, those would be really good flavors together.
Yes. We used to do a cinnamon butter for bread. You can do a cinnamon butter on the candied. It would candy the sweet potatoes, which would be great. I had another thing for the sweet potatoes. So I make sweet potato burritos, and at first I roast them, but I do put a combination of cumin and chili powder, on each one, and then so that they're not just sweet; they have that smoky, kind of
smoky with a little touch of
I think you
heat.
need cumin for a little bit of that.
Somebody was making on the thing. I want a blackened tuna steak. But she was making a creamy citrus sauce, and she was using oranges with it, and she added vanilla to it.
Ew, interesting.
Over seafood. So I'm like, I wrote that down. I'm like, I want to play around with that.
So you had my tuna with the noodles, because that has orange in it. And then I make a tuna steak.
I don't remember having the tuna with the noodles.
Okay. So I do orange segments, cucumber, rice vinegar, and a few others. And then I do a tuna steak with a cucumber, tomato, onion salsa with dill. And then underneath that, I do an orange aioli. So I just take mayo, garlic, and a little bit of orange juice and orange zest. And then I chill that back in the fridge so it's cold, hot tuna, cold salsa.
Yum, that does.
And then I do
good.
rice on the side.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, orange.
Maybe I don't want to do tacos tonight.
Now you got to go get tuna steaks. I love a tuna steak. I can eat tuna so much that I have high mercury. I know I do, because that's how much I love tuna. It's one of my favorite. And swordfish. I really like swordfish.
I like swordfish if
I cook it mostly.
I've never cooked it because I had a bad
Cook it like a
experience.
steak.
Yeah,
with brown
I
butter.
want to do a tuna like that. I want to do a tuna steak. My stepdad used to make it was like a honey mustard glaze on it, but it had a little bit of spicy. It was just a little bit of sweet, a little bit of, I don't know if it was like a brown mustard, but that was really good. He used to also marinate shrimp in that and just put them on skewers. The other night, I weren't super hungry, so I made a big salad, threw everything in it. Yes, I like cottage cheese, and I like a little scoop of cottage cheese in my salad.
See, it's everywhere.
Yes.
I stocked today.
But I like red onions and olives and the whole shebang. I put pickles in it, cucumbers. So we had a big salad. I'm like, I gotta have something else with it. So I had some shrimp and I use the air fryer for it, but I'll pre-cook a little bit of bacon, and then I just take the shears and cut them in strips, and I wrap it around the shrimp. Well, I've seasoned it. I use like a little bit of Old Bay, a little bit of pepper, maybe a little bit of cayenne or something, just to give it a little bit of spice on the shrimp. And then I'll wrap that in bacon, stick it on skewers, and put them in the air fryer to get the bacon crispy. And then I will take smoked Gouda or fresh Parmesan, and I take them out, put them in a little thing of foil, and stick them in the oven and melt that cheese on top of it. Oh my God, it's heaven. I could eat that like popcorn. It's
Yeah.
so good.
And that's I don't like scallops wrapped in bacon because I feel like the bacon is never cooked enough.
Yes.
I like cooked
Crispy
bacon.
yeah.
I like crispy bacon. So now what I've done is instead of stressing about rolling the scallop, wrapping it in bacon and trying to manipulate all sides and make sure, I just cook them separately. I cook the bacon, pull it out, cook the scallops in the bacon fat. Pull those out. I usually make it with a pasta with I've been doing the lemon lime zest and a little bit of cream with the pasta.
Oh, you could just blanch like a couple like cherry tomatoes on top of that and give it a little bit of that would be really good. With
the tomatoes. I didn't think of adding tomatoes. I might add the tomatoes, but that is really good because you get the saltiness and the crispiness of the bacon. Because to me, I don't like mostly when food is all soft. And I don't like when food is all crunchy.
It's got to have texture.
But it has to have the right combination of both things. Because in my beef stew, I love a beef stew, but I almost like a crunchy coleslaw next to it so that there's something counteracting that yielding soft meat.
Yes.
So
did I send you a picture? So the other day, I could not find a pork butt. Chris had wanted to do pulled pork. I couldn't find... I think it was the pork butt or the shoulder. Anyway, I couldn't find a raw one to cook and just slow cook it. So I ended up getting a pre-cooked smoked, it was a picnic roast or something. So it's almost like it does have that smoked and it almost has, the texture's different. It's,
do you know I almost never like smoke, liquid smoke? I don't like.
I don't either. I have it. I never use it. It's almost even a drop or two. I feel like it's just too much.
Yep.
But so we had the pulled pork, but I don't season I will let you drizzle. I'll put a little bit of the seasoning on it, but you can add your own and you can mix it up. So, because some people like it different. Anyway, with the smoked pork, I ended up getting those little tostada or they're boats, the soft taco shells, but they come in these little boats. I was like, I'm going to do the lettuce wraps. So I did those. So I did my ground chicken and did all my seasonings in that to make it the Asian lettuce wrap. So then I did my bowl. I put the lettuce in that and then I scooped the meat in on top of that. And I crunched up the crispy jalapenos. Oh my gosh, they were so good. Just that extra little, it needs some kind of a crunch to it.
Yeah.
But then on the pork ones,
and that's where I like raw cabbage.
Yeah.
Because it is a firm enough that even if it wilts from the heat, it still has some kind of texture of a crunch.
Yes. So I ended up doing an Asian slaw. It was I think it was a little bit of honey, soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, some pepper, and I feel like there's something else in there. Ginger, but I'm I didn't have any ginger. And so I chopped my red cabbage slaw up really, really fine, and then I did that, and I put avocados on top of it. And then I sprinkled a little bit of feta on it. I didn't have that cohicha.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of that, but I was like, feta could be good. That just tiny little pieces of it. So you just get the flavor and you don't get the texture of it. Oh my gosh. It's so good. Chris is like,
this should be our love letter to food episode.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, well, we do love food.
We do love food.
So we all talking about all things that we love food. I was going to say, I'll post a picture of it. But Chris is like, is that all we're eating for dinner? And I'm like, just try it. Because I had 4 little ones. I had 2 each on every. And I think he didn't even eat. He's like, I'm full.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm full after 3.
I joke that men don't like salads because they're afraid they're going to be hungry. When I first got together with my spouse, his grandmother took one look at me and said, men don't like salads. Don't feed a man a salad. She was very adamant that men need meat and potatoes. And I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. Except once we're married.
Right.
You're eating salad because you're not dropping dead of a heart attack early.
Right.
you're gonna eat your meat and potatoes, but you're also having salad.
Yes.
And there's
Have
times
some greens in there.
where I make this giant salad and then a protein, and he always looks at it and is like, "My grandmother told you, you promised." It's like, you'll be full. If you're not full, I'll make you something else to eat.
I did promise, but both of my fingers were crossed.
No,
behind my
I
back.
was saying I understand. I'm not just feeding the man lettuce.
Yeah.
I get it, but he's not eating vegetables. He's
yeah.
just, and I feel like you would argue with that just a little bit because I feel like I push way more vegetables than you have a tolerance for.
Yes. Yes.
I'm a vegetable. I really do love vegetables, but I think I make my vegetables taste good.
Yes.
I put a lot of effort into my
Yes.
vegetables. I put a ton of effort into my salads. To me, in the summer when it's hot out and you have a cold, crispy salad, I'm not talking those salads you get at the store that have 1 cucumber, 1 cherry
Right.
tomato, 2 pieces of carrots. I even shred my carrots so you can get them on a fork. Like, I'm very specific about my salads. And I feel like I do a good job with them, so I don't want to hear any flack from pushing vegetables.
Yes, I actually will cut my cucumber, like I cut it lengthwise.
Mhm.
So, and then I'll cut them. So it's, I don't like the big cucumber a whole round, like when they just slice it in a round. I can't get that in my mouth with
Right.
anything else.
Right.
And now I'm like, I feel like, I have to dislocate, like a snake or something. I have to dislocate my jaw to get
Well, every
around
time I
it.
eat a salad, I think this is not. When I was young, I would never eat a salad on a date. I am never less ladylike than when I am stabbing vegetables and shoving them, like dislocating my lower jaw like a snake to get my mouth around. And then you always have one piece of, something sticking out the side.
Lettuce sticking in your
and
teeth.
then you get something in your teeth. It is not a date worthy.
See, you didn't have to worry about that when I was a teenager because I didn't eat salad until I got married.
Really?
Yeah.
I was on a diet forever. I ate salad.
I don't like
all the
salad.
time.
I didn't like lettuce. I don't like the texture of lettuce. But however, when I was a kid, we go to Pizza Hut. That salad bar was banging. My mom's
Do you think
like,
it was because it was really cold?
well, no, they used to have the hot cherry peppers.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have those. They had croutons. They had real bacon bits. They had like egg cut up, chopped egg cut up. Like they had so many things on it. And I would eat the tomatoes and the cucumbers and the pickle and the peppers. And Mom's like, you're not eating a salad. You're just eating the topping.
Yes.
I still kind of do.
Yeah.
I put a little lettuce in there, and Chris every once in a while, if he's in there, he'll like throw some more in my bowl, and I throw it back. And
You're like, I'm not a cow. I'm not gonna
this
eat.
morning on our way in, and he said, so we're talking about the whole Facebook fiasco and having to reset, and he's like, well, this is what you do when you own a business. You got to kind of keep going, and you have to rebuild and do all this. And he said, when you signed up to be an adult, this is what you signed up for. And I'm like, wait, I didn't sign up to be an adult. I didn't. I did not sign up to be an adult. And he's like,
Oh,
good.
I thought you were going to say, I didn't sign up to be robbed. If you want to
Well, I
rob
didn't
me,
sign up to be-
come
yeah.
and try to rob me. See how
Right.
this goes.
Right.
You get in a fight.
Right.
Not to be robbed from another country.
Right.
Through my...
Bangladesh.
Yeah, through the portals of the social media platforms. I wasn't
Right.
up for being robbed there.
Right.
Before, you want to rob me, you got to take my purse. We're going to have a scuffle.
Right.
You know,
A
and
skerfuffle. I
a
like that.
skerfuffle. Well, I remember one time. So my husband will always come in, and he hasn't done this in a while. Actually, he did it once recently, and I'm like, I'm not mentally prepared. But he would. This guy attacks you. What do you do? Or this guy, like he would put a scenario out there.
Yeah.
And we were at a Chinese food restaurant that didn't have any seats, so you always had to take your food to go. So we're waiting, and there's this very inebriated, annihilated dude, like stumbling around, popping in and out of the place. And so my spouse says, this guy wants your purse. What do you do? I said, I'm not giving this guy my purse. And he's like, you always give your purse. Don't be ridiculous. Why would you? I said, you said this guy.
Right.
This guy. I can take this guy 3 punches. This guy's down.
Like, I can take this guy.
This guy, I'm not giving my purse. This guy. Now, there's other guys totally giving my purse.
Here.
Here, I'm going to throw it so they go for, like,
Right.
but so he would always do the scenarios, what you do. And not 50% of the time, but maybe like a good 30% of the time, he's like, no, that's the wrong answer. And I'm like, I can take this dude. He's like, you can't take this dude. I'm like, I think I can. I'll run him over with my car. So we always do these practice scenarios in which
Prepping.
I fail. I fail 30% of the time. I only get a C, maybe even a C minus.
So
I think in my head, I'm way more like badass than I am. Especially when I was taking kickboxing, do not even come near me. I remember I was standing. I had just come from a kickbox class. I had been worked out so hard I vomited in the trash.
Oh my gosh.
Because that's what they do over there. They're like, did you throw up? Then you didn't really complete your workout.
Oh.
And so I'm literally, there's a cathartic part of sweating that much. You just have there's nothing left.
Yeah.
I'm in
You
a
leave it
supermarket.
all on the field.
I'm in the supermarket and I'm at the deli. And I've got my number, and they call my number, and another guy comes up and just starts barking his order. And I turned to him, and I said, I'm going to let you go. But I did it, that really creepy, quiet, whispery, soft voice.
Yes.
I'm going to let you go.
I'm going to let you go.
And he looked at me.
I'm going to let you live.
And in my head, I was like, because I could tool you right now. I've thrown up everything I've eaten today so far. I'm a little hungry. You cut me in line. I have the skills.
Need to practice my new skill.
I have my skills, but I'm just going to let that go.
Yeah,
but that's how I was walking
don't
around
make
during
me.
kickboxing.
Don't make me practice my new skill because I'm dying to do it over here.
I have got my kick so perfected, and I've been doing it for an hour and a half. I'm going to push you into the olives with one kick. But you can go.
One kick, like, how do you like me now?
But that's
Wait,
how...
Were you smelling my perfume?
That's how, when you work out, the dopamine and the adrenaline and all of the stuff that's good for your brain makes you think you're way more capable than you are.
Yes, you feel like you can take on the world. So I said to Chris one time, like, if I ever got into, like, he's like, well, how would you protect yourself? I'm like, well, I would rip my belt out. I still like this idea.
I love the belts.
I would rip my belt out, and you could have enough force that you could sling it, and it would wrap around somebody's neck.
I think just the belt buckle
like
alone.
Collar. No, that's your gripping point. So, like, you rip it.
I think you use it. I think you use the
wraps
soft
around
part.
their neck like those snap bands, those snap wrists you used to have.
Depends on how thick the belt is.
Yes.
But that's a really good tech. The belt can always be used as
a great leather.
We joke that everything. Last week we had a gentleman, an unsavory gentleman, come in uninvited, and nothing happened, which was really good. But it makes me remember and to tell all of you, everything can be a weapon. Don't go down without a fight. Now, of course, there's going to be scenarios where just give your purse. I understand that. But what I used to say to my spouse when he would test me is, I can't just be giving away my purse every day. Like, every time someone wants your purse, just give it away. Because there is that mindset that you're not supposed to defend yourself. And I think people who aren't terrified of being raped think that. We'll just give them whatever they want. And it's like, well, no. I'm not giving anybody whatever they want because there's a lot of evil, bad people out in the world.
Yes.
I am protecting myself. And there is that, well, just let them do whatever. It's okay. Just let them. And it's like, no. We can't just let evil march across the face of the earth doing whatever it wants. Because there's a small percentage of those, and they will take over the large percentage of us. So we do have to have the mindset that we would protect ourselves. I don't believe it's good to just lay down at all times.
I think in certain
you have to evaluate the situation. Yes, there's no need to die over being, your purse or something like that, or your car. Let them take your car. You can replace your car. I get a lot of that. But then there are times that it's like, well, if every day someone was trying to take my car or my purse, at some point I'm going to have to take a stand.
Well, I think you get to a limit. And, like, I was working myself up thinking, I was talking to the lady at the Apple store yesterday, and she's like, Instagram is you get locked out or your account gets hacked. Like, you just have to upload a photo ID, and then they'll ask you something to verify. Like, show me a picture of this or something. And she's like, it gets so back in. And I'm like, I've had probably at least 30 people report that it's being hacked. They haven't taken it down. They haven't taken it down. they're letting people, they're scamming people,
And
and
they're
I'm
not
like,
doing anything
but
about it.
I'm just thinking, like, I've had that account since 2009. My face is all over it. You can't match that. You can't see that this is something, like, they don't care. It's an invasion. It's identity theft. It's invasion
It's
of your
fraud.
privacy. It's fraud, and you're scamming people. And you've had multiple people, like over 30 people, tell you this
Including
is a
the
scam.
person whose account it is.
Yes.
And my sister-in-law said, I think someone took Robyn's account. I said, they did. And she said, yeah. And I was like, hey, I think your account's been stolen. And I'm like, they probably blocked you, because when I
Yeah.
reported, because they were reporting, they took a picture of someone, a family that wasn't you. And they said, I just bought this house, whatever. And
With the crypto.
with crypto thing. And then
Yeah.
and then they were putting in whatever false responses. And I
Right.
write, Robyn's not selling crypto, and Robyn is not a realtor. This is a stolen account. Unfollow this, block this. And I didn't say unfollow, I said block and report. And they immediately took it down. They took me down, and then they blocked me from your account.
Yeah, so that's what somebody else was saying that had called in. She's Meta verified, but I'm like, now I don't want it. If I start a new Facebook account, that's 1,700 people in my list that I have. Like, I having to rebuild that, and I'm like, why do I want to rebuild it with you? Why do I want to go on Facebook? Like, you have done nothing to protect your people. And the more people that I talk to about, like, even at the Apple store, I had 5 employees, they were talking and hanging out, and she was like, oh my, yeah, this happened, and all of them knew somebody close to them that have gotten hacked. And she's like, I cannot tell you how many times people come in here with their Facebook being hacked and getting new phones and all the stuff because all of the crap that they're doing. Like, why do I want to go back?
Right.
You've done nothing but, you are not protecting me.
Yeah.
And
And you're not protecting all the other people that these people are taking
you're not
their
protecting
money off.
You're not protecting my people.
Yeah.
Like, you're not protecting my followers. You're not doing anything. We're trying to grow a business. We were trying to grow a business on Facebook, and like, you're doing nothing to support us. You're just a platform that's going to take money, and you don't care. There's no way to contact you. And anytime you find a phone number for Facebook, do not call it. You cannot reach them by phone. And that was like, I was angry with myself because, you get desperate and vulnerable, and like,
You think you're reaching a Facebook person.
yes, you're trying to do your due diligence and you think you're reading it, and they know the language, and they know exactly what to say and how to manipulate you to go here, go here, go here, and go here. And like,
All you're doing is giving them more access.
yes.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
awful.
So it's really like talking about like wanting to defend yourself. So yesterday I was, at a very low, and I was just like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Don't look at me wrong. I will fight you. I'm like, "Rrr."
Yeah, I know.
But I'm like, I have to practice what I preach. I have to practice about being in abundance and thinking about being grateful for the things that I am grateful for.
Yeah.
Because
And I wonder why the Facebook platform, like, no one steals people's Spotify accounts. I wonder what it is about Facebook that makes it.
they can sell.
They can sell on
They
it.
can
Okay.
sell. Like, that's they hijacked it so they can sell crypto. They will do people that have big followings. Mostly, I mean, they'll do it for anybody. But when I was looking up research, if you have a large enough following, they'll do it so then they can just go in and hack, and they're selling stuff under you. And I'm like, if that's not identity theft, and Facebook won't address the problem.
Well, it's interesting. There was a woman. Can I use your glasses again? She is trying to fight porn, which is like a user uploaded porn site.
Oh.
Because they're putting child pornography and rape on there, and the victims can't get it taken down. So their crimes are being posted publicly. Someone's making money off of it, and the victims can't get their abuse taken down.
Jeez.
So these big, huge, I think there has to be something that
I think
is addressed on
and
that.
you want to make government shut down and make it illegal to have TikTok. Like, I don't care what they say. Like, there's no ban on Reddit. I mean, I literally followed a link. I don't even know what Reddit is. It's like another platform for
Okay.
anything and everything. Like,
Okay.
but a lot of times people will comment, and so I was following a thread, and I didn't know it was Reddit until I was reading, and it said, "Oh, I think this is the one I want." Like when you're doing a Google search,
Yep.
and it flashes up the topic. I hit it. And I was like, "Oh, this is not what I want. It's just somebody's comment. It's not a person of authority." So then I go to click out of it, and this sex scene comes up, and I'm like, "What?" Yes, Reddit is like porn is all
Oh,
over
really?
Reddit, and I'm like, and it's in your face. Like you don't even search for it. Like I swiped out.
Or you're not even of 18. You're not. So we met up with our TED Talk incubator group, and the woman had asked me if you could change anything, or what do you feel really passionate about? And I said the thing that I feel really passionate about is there is a promise that technology will fix us.
Mm.
But what it's doing is it's making us less human.
Yes.
The qualities that make a human, and replacing it, but doing it poorly enough that they promise us the next thing will do it. And we're all believing that the next thing. And now it's AI. AI will fix us, and the robots will fix us.
We've
But
gotten
I think
ourselves
children
so far down this bunny trail that
I don't think children should be on it. Actually, till a certain age when your frontal lobe is developed, and children can see anything. Just like you said,
Right.
a children could type on something that
Right.
Reddit comes up, and then a sex scene comes
Right.
up. When we were young, we would have to actively go search out porn.
Yes.
It would have to be a physical activity,
Yes.
right? And we weren't seeing rapes. We weren't seeing child stuff. We weren't seeing all of that really depraved, piece of it.
You had to be brave enough to go to the back room at Blockbuster.
But I even think there was a gatekeeper.
Yes.
You were 18.
Yeah.
There was a gatekeeper
Right.
who made sure that they were doing
Right.
the depraved thing somewhat legally.
And so I understand that they want to do it because China is hacking like all of our, whatever.
Data.
Dude, they've already done it. And you're going to shut down. And TikTok is so like even when I try to post, like they will block it if there's like a side boob on some things. Like so they do have their
Guidelines.
yeah, like you don't really run into something raunchy. I mean, like people do get around it, like, but they're usually in a bathing suit but they're really good about. I think they've been really good about pornography or like showing things that could be offensive to children.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they've done steps to do it. Now you want to ban it, like ban Reddit.
Right. I didn't even know that Reddit was a thing. I thought Reddit was like for books.
Well, I learned that. No.
And I never went on it because I'm like, I have a Goodreads account that I don't do anything with. So
I think we're going to the top of the hour.
I don't hear the music.
I don't either.
There it is.
Oh,
Good
oops.
timing. You're
Oops.
you're psychic.
I was watching that clock and then I saw Amy hit her thing